Hi, PT 2023 is done, and I have been analyzing this for years now. And every time I come and then analyze that this year the train has changed as my usual starting line has been there. But this time I find that if I say the train has changed, it'll be an understatement. It has changed not only in terms of distribution, where they call it as pattern has undergone change, it has also changed in terms of its nature of question. So it's a double change, one would say, and a lot of people find that this year the question has been very tough. Actually, very tough for the reason it is not only the distribution of nature of question has changed, the distribution of areas has changed, it's also because the formatting of question has changed. In fact, last year was a small trailer that we saw, and this year that we have a big change which is visible on the surface. Also, I would say that it's not an easy paper. I mean, I don't think that one would call it as an easy paper. And our faculty members are working on getting you the most accurate possible answer, which is free from doubts and debates to the extent possible. I'm giving all the writers, you can easily understand that this is a very unique paper that we have in our hands. And 8 p.m. we are going to go live, and then we'll explain to you about the questions, nature of questions, and why a particular question is correct. Also, I suppose one has to be, just having information is not enough, that you know that. You have to be creative, you have to be logical, also innovative, to be able to really understand and give a good answer in that. I think this is underlined. It's very clear. Only information is not enough for this kind of questions that you have got. And in fact, I would also like to identify very clearly that there is some bit of subjectivity also. We can't take one source as and say that, hey, this is the source. Because there are some questions where they have used the words like chief purpose. It's a very subjective chief purpose, which is the chief purpose which you think. I mean, that's something which is not the Constitution itself declares for itself. Also, as it is widely believed, again, this is very subjective. And we have got a lot of debatable questions elsewhere also. Apart from that, as I told you, that nature of formatting the questions, of forming the question, nature of asking the question has also undergone changes. Some sort of assertion reasoning questions have come in the form of, I would call them as a statement-based questions, and is it explaining or not explaining? Definitely, elimination is out of the scene, at least for the moment, till one start missing them and they start coming back again. Also, it is very important that you keep in mind that the sports have come back, and they're going to be there, it seems, for some time, till they decide that this has become a trend and they change it again. Also, I would say careful reading is very important. A lot of questions, there are minor wording changes. In fact, our faculty members, when they're explaining, they would also indicate towards that. You have to be very alert in reading. You have to be careful reading. And then current is not just the current that you pick up straight from the newspaper. You have to do a lot of backward reading of the current. The context of the current is very important. The kind of holistic coverage that we do in the classes, a lot of students have already started calling me and told me that that has come really very handy. In fact, we are one of the few coaching institutes of the country who have got so many questions coming out of the classroom itself. And the material, definitely we have covered. One has to be very careful about reading them. When it comes to CSAT, I must tell you that when it comes to passages, I would imagine that they are on the moderate sides, not as difficult probably or complex as they used to be. That's what I feel. Of course, you have given the examination, you know it. Apart from that, permutation, combination questions, that's there. Again, the number system, it's gone a little on the higher side, I would imagine. Also, mensuration is one area which will definitely help you in solving quite a few of those mathematical questions there. Also, reasoning questions, I would imagine that they become a little lengthy. In fact, GS also, the question has become a little lengthier, as it is getting lengthier every time. And also, as a little more focus on mathematics is definitely required. and that would help you in fact, I would imagine that the nature of level of question, when we look into CSAT paper, it has definitely gone up. Definitely gone up. In fact, GS and this both have gone up. If I talk about some basics, I'm not going into those detailed explanation that history that many questions or geography that many questions, environment that many questions. But if I can just simply identify about polity questions, you have to be a little more conceptual. Applied questions are there. Also, it's difficult to imagine that you're reading things in silos. You have to be reading things for PT and mains combined together. That's important. Also, we have got some questions are basic in polity, but some require deep conceptual understanding, and only then you will be able to answer those questions. And then IR questions, of course, there are some current flavors there in that, but nevertheless, conceptual clarity is also required in those questions. And in economy, I think this has been a kind of common observation for quite some time. You have to have an in-depth understanding of it. Those questions of data and facts, I mean, that's not going to be enough to take you through that. Of course, there are some questions on MSP there, like you have to have the facts read about those different crops there. Still, I would imagine the more dominance of conceptual questions are there. For geography, I would say that minerals, which used to be there quite a few years ago, again been coming back, and then this year again is there. Regional geography, that definitely has been dominating. And then if somebody has read applied part, current part, and also the map orientation is it's good, then I'm sure you are in a good position to solve plenty of geography questions as regional orientation has increased. When it comes to history, I find that history has really gone really very high. Of course, the continuation of the pattern of South India-based questions, Buddhism-based questions, they continue. But nevertheless, the similar focus that used to be there till recently on modern, that's no more there. Or they have really gone detail in that. And then you find some questions, they are really out of a very high level. In fact, a very in-depth understanding is required for this. In fact, when I talk about environment, those classical environmental questions which were just based on those current is not there. They have really some questions may be easy, but most of the questions, they are really very deep in understanding of the environment question. Comprehensiveness is something which I would say that when you're reading environment is going to really help you. Of course, we have got a lot of questions coming out of the class there. Habitat, and then those habits of the zoo kingdom. Also, lesser known facts are also picked up there. I think one thing which is very clear is that the nature of questions in terms of the areas and topics being covered, that has definitely gone up. When I talk about the formatting of the questions or the nature, the way asked the question, that has undergone change. And overall, the level of question has definitely gone up. But the silver lining is the same question which was given to all the lakhs of people who have written the examination today. So if you have written, others have written. If it is difficult for you, it's difficult for others. And then it is more on those elimination. Those who are being eliminated less, they would definitely be called for the final mains examination. I'm sure when we are going in to you live, I would be very keen that you should understand the explanation given by our faculty members. 8 p.m. sharp tonight, we're going to give that, and then based on that, you would be having more in-depth understanding of the nature of questions in the pattern. But those people, in fact, good number of them would be there on the margin. You would not know the cutoff A, B. You do not know that how much of my questions, which are debatable questions, are correct or not. In such conditions, I would not like you to waste your time just thinking about am I in or am I out when it comes to mains examination, because majority of the students are going to be there. Do not lose your time. Start preparing mains. Maybe take a few hours off and then get back to your task and then start walking towards it. I'm sure whatever KSG can do for your mains preparation, we will be very soon starting very committed course module for mains, and you would get to hear from us. and I am going to work on you personally on that. Our team is very committed for your mains, and you also start without losing time mains preparation, because these valuable days, if they are lost in matching the answers and debating about the questions, they'll be very crucial. I don't want you to waste them, and my best wishes are there for your mains preparation. All the best.